Absolute Bane origin is revealed in an issue of Absolute Batman that has had comic book Twitter talking nonstop. So we're gonna get into that because there's a lot to say about this issue of Batman, and we've got a whole bunch of other books to talk about this week on Pals Pulls. Thank you for being here. We of course have Marco.
Celsius.
You forgot your catchphrase again. I saw you try to remember it.
No, I tried to unmute.
Tyler.
Hi. Hey. What's up?
And I'm Sean. Thank you for being here. Whether you are live or in the future, please make sure you smash that like button if you enjoy what we do. Glad to see the early arrivals in the chat. We've got 6 books to talk about this week. We're going to be talking about Absolute Batman, as I said. We've also got New Gods, number 9. We've got Justice League Unlimited, number 1. Or, excuse me, Red. Justice League Red, number 1. We've also got Escape, number 1. Imperial, number 3. Is that it?
Battle Beast?
Yeah. And Battle Beast, of course. Battle Beast, number 4.
Oh, nice. So, wait, what variant did you get, Sean?
I'm not sure who did this one, but
I don't remember seeing that one, even when I was getting the slides.
Okay. This is EJ Sue.
Oh, sick. Yeah. A member of the Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Oh.
So we've got quite the docket on tap for today, and let's just get into it. Let's start with Absolute Batman. This issue is notable for a few reasons. First up, though, is the creative team shift, the guest appearance, if you will, because as always, this was written by Scott Snyder, but he is joined by Clay Mann, who stepped in to fill in for Nick Dragotta. And of course, we've got Ivan Placencia on colors, Clayton Cowles on the letters. And it's really on the tin. You know, this issue is Bane's origin, told partially through Alfred, largely through Alfred, but we also get to see what happened to this version of Bane that makes him be what he is. And sort of, we also kind of figure out and understand why Batman, like why he's so insistent on taking down Batman and why he is so connected to Batman. This issue has a lot to say about the Bane character. Tyler, how did you feel about Absolute Batman 11?
First, I want to say thank you to Goku for a $20 super chat. That's what they called, right? Yeah. So hyped for today's episode. Thanks to all the comics pals for keeping us well fed. Well, keep on being a munch, Goku.
Thanks, Goku.
But in terms of my take on this, so during Snyder's run of Batman, I was a big fan of his run on Batman proper. Bane was a character he didn't really touch. So this is this turn with Bane and Absolute Bane. My cat just scared the shit out of me. Was like, okay, cool. Even though Snyder has been on Batman for years and years at this point, this feels fresh. And I really liked how he was able to solidify who Bane was in one issue, straightforward, get to the meat of it, and get to the why of it. And then also the where we're going, all one issue. So I think as a single issue, it's crafted fantastically. But I didn't know Clayman was going to be on this issue. Like I had forgotten that. I had missed the announcement somewhere. This is similar to when Gabriel Hernandez Walta did that one issue of the first arc. And man, I was so happy to see him in this. I love Clayman. Clayman and Scott Snyder had done one of my favorite single issues of all time. That's a date issue during Snyder's Batman run between Bruce and Selina. Wait, no, Clayman drew it. Tom King wrote it. But the way Clayman just draws people and bikinis in this issue for I don't know if Hayden's in the chat. I'm sure he was excited for that.
Butts.
Yeah, lots of butts. Thank you, Mark. I was trying to be coy about it. But I thought this was great. So you get butts, brawn, and brutality in this one issue. And that alone makes a damn good issue. Almost my pick. Very, very close. But man, this is a lot of fun.
This, in contrast to Tyler, is maybe the one of the first times I feel down on this issue. And I think the art did play quite a bit. I did not expect Clayman on this, and so when I saw the first page, I'm like, okay, this feels a little different. Definitely into the splash page, and then after we get all of the boxes, I feel like all of these panels, I feel like Dragoda is, at least in my mind, singularly capable of this quantity of the volume. It very much felt like he was aping Dragoda quite a bit. And I didn't like that. I felt like in other instances where we have had a separate artist, they took it their own direction. This was very much Clayman is going to try to do what Dragoda was doing, but I'm Clayman, and it didn't jive with me. Plus the volume of text made it like I was just kind of, it made it for a very heavy reading experience, a very slow reading experience that I didn't quite enjoy as much. Um, so I was a little disappointed. I do agree the origin of this Bane is very interesting. The kind of like freedom fighter comes out of the ranks of this otherwise uh, uh I guess like insurgents, which was interesting. And then towards the end, where we did get the instance of a Batman versus Bane, and we got to this wild part. I don't know, man. It it kind of jumped the shark, had a jump the shark moment for me for a second. So I'm definitely still digesting the end. I was looking forward to coming to talk about it because I was curious to hear your guys' takes.
Uh, this was probably my pick of the week. I not 100% sure. And we've still got conversations to have. But right now, I think that's where I'm at. This issue felt necessary in a lot of ways to give us the details on Bane, but it also just felt like such a complete story into itself. And I rarely feel like that about single issues. I mean, obviously, the story is far from over, but if this was, absolute Bane number 1 instead of absolute Batman number 11, it would feel like a complete story. Like, this is who this man is. Um, and I thought that, Snyder did enough to differentiate this version of Bane from mainline Bane, because this version of Bane essentially is a man who sold his soul. He had good intentions. He wanted, freedom for his people. He spent over a decade in prison, and then he kind of realizes that it doesn't matter what he does. If he doesn't work with Joker and let him kind of flood this place with money and resources and everything else and sell his soul to work for the Joker, then his people will always struggle. They'll never have safety. They'll never have real freedom. And he's willing to kill his father to do that. And that's the moment. It's, Snyder's been obsessed with the idea of Bane wanting to break Batman. And for me, earlier on, that was getting annoying. Like, all right, he's going to break Batman. That's always Bane's gimmick. But this issue establishes that Bane broke himself first. And he broke his father. And when he broke his father, he broke himself. And he sold himself away for his people. And that explains who he is. That gives you everything you need to know. I am loving this version of Bane.
That version, I think, to what you're saying, right? The back, I took it as like the backbone. The father was the backbone to him, was the backbone to the revolution, was the backbone to his ideals, in the same way that Batman's friends and family are the backbone for him. So the metaphor, I think, definitely was poignant and pushed its way through.
I really liked the bit too with the mask and the Quetzal, I believe it was, right?
Yeah.
And like this, how this bird that is rising from the ashes, essentially, same as a phoenix, kind of got morphed through years and years of just having to be a soldier until it becomes this mask. Like once I saw the mask almost spread out in terms of a flag, I was like, oh, it is kind of a bird. And it's a skull at the same time. I thought that was a really, really cool way of depicting it, but also like a cool way of like justifying that as a defining characteristic of Bane's costume, but also his character. And I was like, hell yeah, I love when books can do that. I like that when they can justify something that was kind of goofy before. He looked like a fucking luchador, you know?
Yeah. I just think from stem to stern, a lot of thought went into this presentation. The idea that he's a genius and knows everything and has learned, every fighting style and everything else. You can get into areas where you're just saying things, just like hyperbole that doesn't mean anything. And sometimes Snyder does that. Here, though, we see it be true. We see him annihilate Batman. And granted, that wasn't a real fight. That's not what happened. But the idea that that's what would have happened, it hit as hard.
Did you get got a bit during that as you're reading it? Like, what the fuck happened? What? No? What?
I actually was a little annoyed by that. It
Yeah.
was the
Same.
only part of the book that I didn't care for was the fake out of like, wow, you just saw all this craziness, but none of that actually happened. Uh,
Would
and
you have
and go ahead.
would you have rather it happened?
God no.
Okay.
I mean, he rips off Batman's arms. He beats him to death.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal and gruesome. Not really any coming back from that. But what we learn at the end is that instead of going for Bruce, Bane goes for his friends.
Yeah.
Because that's the way to beat Batman.
And so this is also going to lead into the absolutification of these characters of Penguin, Two-Face, and Riddler. What monsters they're going to be turned into in some way. And I am uneasy thinking about whatever Dragotta is going to turn the Penguin into. That's going to be vile. And that's a bummer because I kind of feel for them because they've been good people throughout this. They've been his best friends, Bruce's best friends from birth. And I like how we're 11 issues in, and I'm already feeling a different way for characters that I felt a specific way about for my entire life. Whereas now they're in danger. I'm like, oh shit, Edward Nygma is going to get hurt. Like, oh no, which, I didn't give a shit about in the main line. So I think that is just proves how good the storytelling is throughout this 11 issues. And this little detour and little, the most Joker we've gotten too.
Yeah,
which I found him unnerving, really.
I think I don't know his play yet. Like I didn't find him unnerving, but I'm still like I think to be able to manipulate and have had the foresight for this to have corrupted this otherwise, tactical genius, I think was interesting. And sure, he can throw his money around, but seemingly Lords in this, seemingly you have, Raj. So in this world, I don't know to what degree his menace is meant to be. We've seen money explored in other ways in the absolute line, but the strength of that gets explored in different ways as well. And so to me, he's not yet as menacing as he is maybe like sick.
Yeah. I thought the bit where they mentioned that he's a guy that keeps making jokes without laughing was like, oh, you're really going reverse Joker at this point.
I'm with you, Marco, in that I don't really feel threatened or fearful of this version of Joker yet. I think he's played in the background so far, and I like that. I don't need him to take the front seat yet, but I like that he's here. I like that he's involved, and obviously what he offered Bane was enough to get him to kill his own father. So that's crazy. But we'll have to see what it's like when Bane is defeated and there are no more lieutenants and Batman goes for the Joker.
Yeah, he's an unknown quantity, which is interesting, and I'm still content with him being played in that way. It's still interesting for me to think about, okay, what does this service? What does this mean?
The art. Clay Mann is one of the best artists working for sure. And I know Marco said he felt like Clay was doing a Nick Dragotta stand-in when you get to some of these pages that have a bunch of panels on them. To me, I popped hard when I saw that, because seeing Clay Mann stretch himself and do something like that, keeping to what this book is and not turning it into a Clay Mann book, because we've seen a bunch of those, I really, really appreciated that. And he brought a level of grittiness and brutality that I think this issue absolutely needed. I mean, I can't stop thinking about this double page spread
Yeah.
that has Bane and Batman standing off. It's ridiculous.
Sean, I similarly popped when I saw he was aping Dragotta's panel layout. But he was aping the layout, but he wasn't aping the art.
Right.
Because there was a lot of those small panels where typically you would see Dragotta zoom in on a small part. Clay was drawing essentially full panels within those tiny things. Like they're more widescreen within tiny panels, which I thought was interesting, because Dragotta would have went the other direction. But either way, if you like zoom out and you just look at the page as a whole, it's like, oh no, this is absolute Batman. So staying with the theme that the artist has kind of solidified for the layout of the book, but still doing your own spin on it, I was like, hell yeah, that feels like someone being a team player and just trying something different.
Yeah, I had a bunch of fun with Clay being a part of this. I don't know that. I mean, realistically, if Clay Mann drew every comic, I'd be happy. But I'm, Nick Dragotta's been doing a fantastic job. This isn't even in my mind about a comparison. I really love what he did. Obviously, he delivered the goods on the early splash page with the bikini women. He really he brought every shade of what you expect from Clay Mann. But then I also felt he brought a touch of things that I didn't expect, and to see that from an artist who's already so established was really cool.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about the allusions to characters like Deathstroke, and like they just threw out all those names? It was Deathstroke. It was
it's not the first time they've done Deathstroke either. Deathstroke had showed up in another thing with Alfred where they were flashing back and there was a guy with Alfred with an eye patch on his eye. So it's like Alfred's got a big bad and he keeps mentioning, like now he's mentioning the guy. That's a seed that I'm excited to see explored, because Deathstroke is a guy that took Bane's offer. So, and he says, like, not everyone survives the transformation. Some come back different. Some only survive partially. Sounds like Deathstroke might have been someone who survived partially, whatever this transformation is. I don't know how you make Deathstroke even scarier unless you make him a literal Terminator. But I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be really cool. Deathstroke's one of my favorite DC villains ever.
Yeah, I haven't popped off yet because I don't know what to expect, which I guess is a good thing. I don't know what I should be waiting for, and so that part's good. But to just hear the name, in this universe, it could very much just be a throwaway.
Yeah, I'm on record as saying, the whole like throw out a name for the sake of throwing out a name doesn't really work for me. But within this specific context, it feels like we're probably meant to think of, like what Tyler just said about Deathstroke. I entirely believe that we will get a more Deathstroke focused arc that involves Alfred down the line. And so that's really cool. Is KG Beast going to be a factor? We'll see. He was also referenced here. On the whole, I thought this issue was tremendous, with only one part that I didn't care for, but everything else was great. And this was a hard week to determine my pick of the week, because there were some really, really strong offerings on the docket. But I think I have to go with Absolute Batman, because the combination of that Bane origin and the Clayman art just takes me over the top. So I'm gonna stick with that.
I thought it was the ass shots that put you over the edge.
Not this time.
Okay. Yeah, easy pull for me. Not my pick of the week though.
This was a pull, even though I have said I'm down on the book. I still think this is a strong issue, or sorry, on this issue at least. Um, the art just wasn't working for me. There are moments in the story, but it's still a pull. I still recommend the issue because I know that that's me.
Cool. Let's see what the audience has to say. 61% of you pull. Pick of the week is 25%. Didn't buy or read is 8%. And pass is 5%. Remember that we always put up a poll for you guys to be able to vote in for any of the books that we're reviewing. So make sure you guys cast your vote. Yeah, absolute Batman on a hot streak. And like I said, a lot of people talking about this issue online. So it feels good to see that the absolute books still have the attention of people to where you can get an issue like this and people will react in mass.
And somebody in the chat earlier said that they're not on Twitter, so they don't see what the hubbub's about. It's been good buzz from what I've seen. It's like, yo, did you check out that issue? Oh, did you check out that page?
Yeah.
Which I don't see often. If it penetrates my Twitter feed, because my Twitter feed is mostly not comic stuff, I usually go on the Comics Pals one to see that. If it gets to my page, my feed, it's pretty big, and that's really cool to see.
Yeah, exactly. We have the ultimate deep dive part 4 coming up this Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys show up for that. It's going to be good to lay that story to rest. I've enjoyed being able to tell it and discuss it with everybody. So hopefully you guys have been too. And also on Saturday, we're going to have a massive announcement.
Oh yeah.
It's the kind of announcement that I think is literally perfect for right now. It's a potentially channel defining announcement, like for me, for what I want, for what I'm looking forward to, and I think you guys are going to love it too.
Bucket list for sure.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So make sure you guys are here Saturday to hear what that announcement is going to be. Let's keep things going and talk about New Gods number 9. This is written by Ram V, as always. With Evan Cagle, he's here, but I feel like we also have to acknowledge Simon Parr, who did a lot of the work here.
Yeah.
Colors by Francesco Segala, letters by Tom Napolitano. So the New Gods are earthbound right now, and they're adjusting to that life. And the newest new god, this child, his fate and what his responsibility as a new god, what that will be, is in the balance. And this issue is all about that. It's all about where is he going to land, how is he going to be, used and manipulated, and whose side is he ultimately going to be on. Yeah, Marco, where are you at with this issue of New Gods?
I've been up and down on the series, but I think this has continued an upward trajectory for me. I like this issue. Um, I'll keep the art to the back half of this portion, but for what it's worth, I think now that we're on Earth and we're seeing the interactions with all of our main players kind of all together, I'm having more fun because it feels like the book has that forward propulsion. I was intrigued by the kid and and his reaction, how they're effectively going to have to leverage him, and there's that dynamic between the kid Scott and Orion, and they're like, well, yeah, I mean, we did it, we do it on behalf of the on the world, on behalf of New Genesis, on for the greater good, and this kid isn't ready to do that. So I think there's some interesting tension there. The Green Lanterns getting thrown into this is interesting. Obviously we're going to keep it up into space, we're going to be back in space. And then the this cowboy new god as potential trader is interesting. So yeah, I think overall this was a strong issue. The art so different from Kegel.
Yeah.
So different from Kegel. I struggled through it not to compare because I still think it was serviceable. It did what it needed to do, but it's definitely not the style that we are familiar with. And that was really hard to get past.
Not only is it not the style we're familiar with in terms of like Kegel doing like the first 4 or 5 pages. But it's also different than the style of other guest artists that have been on this. Simon Parr did Petrolhead for Image. And it looks like a lot of 2080 stuff. So, British person, possibly. And I enjoyed it, but man, is it different. I would say Simon Parr is more similar to like a Nick Darrington, if I had to give a kind of an analogy. But like, I don't think of Doom Patrol looking like this current run of Evan Cagel's New Gods, That's not to diminish how I felt about the issue, though. I actually really enjoyed the issue. I like how this was like the culmination of all this disparate villain arcs that are going throughout it. Hearing that this is ending at issue 12, it was hard not to take that in with me to this issue, with issue 9. And part of me was just thinking like, okay, where are we going? What's the objective here? When I opened the book, as I got through the issue, I'm like, I see what the objective is. It has been and was all about this kid. Yes, there's this intergalactic war happening, but what it's really about is a child and the shared trauma of other children throughout Apocalypse New Genesis. And I like that. I really like the way that set things up, and I really like how it's pitting Orion and Scott against each other, but more ideologically against each other, not antagonistically against each other yet. Orion has a hothead, so we'll see. But I really did enjoy the issue. I'm liking how just all of these New Gods characters are I'm feeling like I'm living there, which is not something that I've never really felt about New Gods. They've always been a history lesson for me and side characters, and it's cool to actually enjoy them in the moment for once.
Man, this book is not for me. This issue definitely told me for sure that this book isn't for me. The art is whatever. Like, it's not as good as what Evan Cagle does, but I'm not going to belabor it. Just from a story standpoint, this issue felt rushed. I mean, it's literally, they introduced the concept of, hey, what are we going to do with this kid? And it feels like it's just a handful of pages between the cowboy guy telling the kid, hey kid, you've got a friend in me, right? And then a handful of pages later, Orion and Mr. Miracle are talking about what to do with the kid. He overhears that, runs away, immediately runs into the cowboy guy, immediately gets shrunken, and then taken to whoever his new masters are going to be. Like, there was just no time to breathe. I think those events should have played out over issues, not an issue. And I am just disconnected from all this. I really wanted to focus on Mr. Miracle and Orion, and we're finally getting back to them here, but this book is ending in 3 issues.
Yeah.
So I am no longer invested in this. I will try the next New Gods thing, but outside of reviewing it for this show, I do not have an interest in this book anymore.
And I think the thing that when you take a step back and you look at the grand scheme of all of this was to tell a story about the New Gods leaving New Genesis, being kind of forced out because of the war.
Yeah.
And that part was paced out. I feel like, Sean, you and I were kind of in line, was really slow just to get to that point, and we finally got to Earth. Cool, we're gonna kick this off. But that's all that this has been. So that's a little disappointing for me, for Rom to be like, oh, this was all that it kind of amounted to. I still want to see what's up with the kid, but if I'm thinking about collecting this and am I going to give this 12 issues to somebody, I can summarize this because it feels like the implications play out afterwards. I don't know how it ends, but it feels like the implications aren't in this book. It's what comes afterwards.
Like, it's teeing something up that it's not going to deal with itself.
Right.
Interesting. I'm viewing it more as that even when their world is destroyed, both the New Gods and the whatever anyone who is from Apocalypse is called. Apocalyptians, I don't know. There will always be war between them. Even when the war is ended, the war will come back for them. And it's about this war-torn race of people that just cannot stop fighting and can never stop being in it. Even when they have their last issue where they were, a family and, being at, a table and breaking bread, they can't not fight. And it's about that. And then it's about the people that, come into contact with that because of it. Now being Earth and all the superheroes there. I do think it feels a little rushed, especially this issue. Like if I forget Cowboy Hat's name, whatever, we're gonna call him Cowboy Hat. If he had talked to the kid 2 issues ago, and this is the payoff of that, I think that's better. So I think pacing's a little off, but I am still really enjoying the content of the book.
Sarafan.
That's a good name too. I should remember that.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like I got like what we were sold as to what this book would be is not what it is. I feel like we were sold that this would be a book that very much was a attention reading post All In Special, and that it would really deal a lot with how the death of Darkseid would then affect the New Gods, and how the New Gods would kind of talk to and be a bridge between the Absolute Universe and mainline. I feel like all of those things are things that were discussed on the outset of this book, but they're not in this book. And everything Tyler said this book is right. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not what I bought in for.
I'm more bummed that it's only 12 issues.
That too.
Like that was never part of the pitch. So I don't know if plans change midway or not. My gut says it seems that way. But I don't know.
Did you read Rom V's Detective Comics?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So you remember how that played out over a long period of time.
Yes.
And he set stuff up early that didn't get paid off until way later.
Yep.
This feels like a microwave version of that. And I don't think it was always going to be that, because Rom V knows how to tell the kind of story that we're talking about, because he did it in Detective. So what's happening here? This issue doesn't feel right from a pacing standpoint. And I got to imagine something changed.
So you thinking he's reheating his own nachos in a way, as they say?
Yeah, just that like this was supposed to be slow roasted. And he realized, you know what? Actually, I can't do that. Let me throw this sucker in the microwave for 3 minutes and get it out there because I have to.
At least do an air fryer next time, Rom. Jeez.
I wonder if that's why the art here is different. The art's changed. The majority of this issue is not Cagle,
which is the inverse of how it typically is.
Right.
Cagle is the main artist. The guest artist does the Cagle amount of pages.
Exactly.
Issue.
Yeah.
And that is something that I worried about with Cagle from the outset, which is that he's not done a lot of interior comics work. And so how will he handle this kind of schedule? For you to be 9 issues in a book where you have never drawn every page and need almost an entire issue off, I don't know. I like the art's great. His art is great, but I don't know what that says for a long-term career in mainstream comics art when you cannot do one single issue by yourself, and then this happens on top of that. Like I would be very hesitant about another Evan Cagle joint.
Previous to this issue specifically, the art delineation made sense thematically.
Yeah.
Now in this issue, it didn't feel that way. It felt like filler. Or sorry, filler is a derogatory word, I feel. It felt like the duties needed to go to someone else for one reason or another. Or maybe script changed and then the pages needed to come out quicker. I don't know, but it something felt like a production thing that changed the issue. I still enjoyed it, but I was seeing a bit of the genie in the bottle. That's not a phrase.
Next issue is again the duo Cagle and Parr. So
yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. That breaks the whole objective.
What is happening?
It looks.
Go ahead, Marco. Sorry.
I was just saying. Then 11, it looks like it's Dennis Cohen.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
okay.
you got me there. To be fair though, some of these solicits and League of Comic Geeks for New Gods in particular have not been accurate until closer to the week that they come out.
Okay.
So I'm not saying Simon Parr isn't doing issue 10 as well, but I have seen, as I've been, getting things and doing edits and stuff, that is sometimes inaccurate.
Sure.
I am gonna come down as a pass on this one, guys. I know that a lot of people really love this, and that's awesome. And I'm not taking that away from you. But for me, this has kind of lost what I was interested in, and this issue just the pacing um really was felt like a whirlwind, and I don't want to be on this ride. So yeah, it's a pass for me.
Uh, it's a pull. I'm gonna see it through because I feel like I just don't get enough New God stuff. But I'm if next issue is similar to this, I'm gonna have real issues recommending it to other people.
I'll be the center here. I'm still really enjoying this. This is probably one of my favorite books on the stands right now. And even though I am seeing some issues with this issue, as a whole, the New Gods is still fantastic in my eyes.
Let's see where the listeners land on this one. 42% pull, 39% didn't buy or read, 15% pass, and 3% pick of the week. Cam says we've seen Maxwell Lord, supposedly the main bad guy, like 3 times total. Yeah, I'm not, maybe I should know this, but I don't even know what his play is, quite frankly.
I think he's just a tool. Like, we know he's being influenced by this dark side energy. He has the scar tattoo on his forehead. And he's a specific power set that is useful, especially in this issue. Where I don't feel like he's the big bad. I feel like he is a tool of the big bad. The big bad is the guy in the beginning of the issue. That is side to whatever Max Lord and Granny Goodness and the Furies are doing. But yeah, I think he's just a tool for something bigger, which we just don't know yet, which is maybe a problem 9 issues in.
Yeah, he's like a vessel. He's like channeling that dark side energy. But I don't think we've gotten a clearer indication as to for what and why.
Yeah.
Like, is this all so that they could defeat the people of New Genesis and Apocalypse can come back full force? Like, I don't know that that's actually been laid out.
Yeah, yeah. There's just a lot. I don't really feel like I know that I wish I did about this book. Um, Clayton Bergstrom with the 6.99 CAD. Any chance on Saturday we could at some point hear your guys' top 3 to 5 best writers in the industry today? Um,
I could name him right now.
Yeah, we can do that, Clay. We can do that. We can do top 3 on Saturday. I'll make a note of it. Since you asked, since you put some comics bucks behind it, we'll do you that solid too.
And since the script's not made, we have some place to figure out where it goes.
It actually is made, but
oh, okay. Well, let me eat my own ass then.
all right. Well, let's get on to the next book. This is Justice League Red, #1. You guys picked it. This is what you wanted us to read, and you chose it via the Pals Polls poll, which always is up every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys cast your vote. Right now, you can vote for JLU #10, Superman 29, Imperial War, Black Panther #1, and Green Lantern #26. Green Lantern tends to win these polls, but right now it's not. Superman is crushing, but Black Panther is in the conversation as well. So I'm really interested to see how you guys are going to vote this week. Please get that vote in.
Yeah, I'm excited for Black Panther. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a Marvel guy though, so I'm biased.
I also want to shout out the fact that last week's poll had 679 votes,
Damn.
which is pretty close. I think it's close to our top number. So keep it up. Keep it up. Let's get us over that 700 hump. Let's do it. We can do it.
Man, all it takes is a boob window to get people voting, I see.
For sure. Yeah. So let's talk about the issue that includes that boob window, Justice League Red. This is written by Salad Ahmed, with art by Clayton Henry, colors by Arif Prianto, letters by Lucas Catoni. Red Tornado has been in a leadership position among this new Justice League Unlimited crew. He's kind of the algorithm or the big AI behind some of their decision making, knowing where and when things might be happening, and what arrangement of teams to send for particular missions. We've seen him play that position in Justice League Unlimited quite a bit. This issue establishes that he is aware of a threat that is going to lead to some catastrophic zombie apocalypse, or just any kind of apocalypse that involves the Justice League's resurgence. And so he's putting together a clandestine group of heroes who don't know, or rather, who won't tell the core Justice League about what they're doing in order to stop this terrible fate. And in this issue, we deal with Simon, Baz, the Green Lantern, and Power Girl. And those are the two that we get to journey with. Marco, how did you feel about this introductory issue into Justice League Red?
This was close to being my pick of the week.
Really?
Yeah, I was super surprised because I'm on the premise. I'm like, okay, we're getting Red Tornado. He's going to be able to like figure this out. Sure, fine. And it almost lost me with the, if I, extrapolate so far that I can foresee all of this stuff happening. And then the scene where you can see like the sacrifice that he goes through, like the organs that get ripped out, the way that he just becomes fully integrated in order to achieve this goal. I thought that started to kind of change how I was feeling about the book. I'm like, oh, okay, no, this guy is like working to really strive to achieve something, and look at the depths that he's going. There could be a good story there on like how far is too far. And then the towards the end we get like a little bit of a twist, like is it really nefarious, or does Red Tornado really foresee something so far that destroying this seed planter could have eventually ended into something? But then Black Adam's involved, so all of the questions that I have were interesting, and that's the part that intrigued me in this. I thought the art was okay. It didn't wow me, but I was engaged throughout the book, and I didn't have that feeling with any of the others, or at the very least with any of the other DC books. So this one was pretty close for me for that.
This was okay in my eyes. I thought it was fine. Clayton Henry, I actually enjoy. I think he's a very like straightforward superhero artist, and I don't mean that in a pejorative. I think that's like a good compliment. Like you can slot him in any superhero book at DC, and I think it would fit. That being said, Saladin Ahmed is not really my favorite Daredevil right now, so I'm a little lukewarm on Saladin's work. But I thought this was fine. I thought the most intriguing part of this was the inclusion of Simon Baz and what this is. And there's he mentions it briefly in this. Simon does, where Simon Baz is Muslim American Green Lantern, and so now he is working for a Black Ops version of the Justice League that does surveillance, much like the NSA would have done post 9/11 to his exact people. And that's a lot of his origin, is how the government treated him, and that's kind of how he got the Green Lantern ring. And I like that as a bit of a wrinkle. That being said, I hate when first issues don't bring the whole team together. I feel like it's a pain in the butt when, we have 3 more team members we're going to see. We have Red Canary, Deadman, and Cyborg, according to the cover. Who knows? but I feel like it's so cookie cutter to just piecemeal these members in for every issue that it feels like somebody who maybe hasn't written a team book before. It feels a little too cookie cutter for me. But that being said, I thought this was a fine issue. I have no real complaints with it other than like it didn't wow me. So I don't know, with so many books that are wowing me, I don't know if I'd continue to pick it up. But I thought it was pretty standardly good.
I'm not gonna pull out my soapbox, but I really did not like this issue.
Sure.
It commits what I think is an original sin of not introducing even the majority of the team right away. Full team, I mean, all right, you want to leave a member off, leave it for a cool reveal down the line. Okay, fine. But not even half, that's to me unacceptable. I agree with Tyler. Clayton Henry is a really talented artist, and I'm always happy to see him on a book. But that said, I thought every other part of this was rough. Simon Baz couldn't wait 1 second to very nonchalantly talk about how this reminds him of being Muslim.
Yes, dude. Oh my God.
It's just like this sledgehammer approach with some of this stuff that just drives me up the wall. Like, dude, you've been a Green Lantern for mad long. You're a fucking cop. Stop it. Or say it in an interesting way. You know, like Saladin Ahmed just slammed that in there, and it was like, okay. There's just nothing subtle, nothing like compelling, nothing, that feels elevated beyond like this is just a book we're doing. And nothing solidified that for me more than Black Adam at the end. Oh. What is he doing there? Why the hell should I care?
The hierarchy of the DC Comics universe is about to change, Sean.
Right. I bet.
That's why I was excited, frankly.
I like how you popped for Black Adam, and that took me out of the book.
I did. I was like, "Whoa, what does this mean?" The to what you said earlier, Sean, about like the call out on like him and like surveillance and his ethnicity, it felt like a moment of just like, and I'm a strong Latino. Here's my mama, here's my papa. I'm like, bruh, like, come on, you could do better than that. But I blew past
Mi abuela.
That. Yeah, dude. Just so that was rough.
Maybe Saladin Ahmed has something different to say there, though, than all the white guys that have written them.
He should have said it.
I'm with you, man. And I know Ahmed can do that because I've read other books where he did do that. So I'm very confused by why he had Simon Baz just clumsily throw that out there. Like, you're not doing us any favors when you do shit like that, bro. Bring it.
My favorite thing with Simon Baz is that he always mentions his cousin. Like, I know that was integral to his origin and what happens there. But like, do you ever see him anymore? It's just like, oh, I got this cousin. Like, there's maybe a list of 5 defining features of Simon Baz, and nobody's expanded outside that 5 except call back to those 5.
I mean, where can we even see his cousin? My man hasn't had a book in years. I can't even think of the last Simon Baz like book there was.
It was the Venditti Green Lantern with Jessica Cruz.
Right.
Good book, though.
Isn't he the gun guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The gun guy.
Hey, one notable feature not present.
That's true. That's true. They gave him, though, his Green Lantern tattoo.
That was cool.
More Green Lanterns should have construct tattoos. I would be giving myself tattoos different every week.
I see chat is saying like you're being over Black Adam. I don't think that's where I'm coming from. I could very easily be hyped for a Black Adam appearance. It's just that in a book that feels very like basic comic, for it to end with Black Adam in that position with nothing interesting to say, not addressing or acknowledging, any of his like anything interesting about him. I know it's just a last page spread, but the dialogue there is just so like, the Man of Tin has made his move sooner than I expected, which means it is time for Black Adam to enter the fray.
He just needed to wiggle his finger and shout it for
Bro,
Black Adam.
Bro is yapping.
That's just so like baby's first comic book dialogue. Like, get out of here. That's not compelling to me.
I did like Power Girl in this. I love Power Girl whenever she shows up. I was a little bummed that that Leah Thompson's Power Girl was ending, but at least the time without Power Girl was minimal.
Big old pass for me.
I might have to pass as well.
Oof.
I might have to pass as well. King Taichi saying Power Girl got redemption from her last run. I argue Power Girl's last run, fantastic.
I don't see how this appearance could have redeemed anything. I agree with what Tyler just said, but even if I didn't, what the hell about this was so great that it redeemed Power Girl?
She got in this issue. She got tricked. She got tricked by AI. What is she? Everyone's parents?
Does at the very least the potential of like, is Red Tornado really nefarious or leading them somewhere? Is that at least intriguing as a concept for you guys?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Because I'm not getting nefarious from him at all. I'm getting flawed AI, not nefarious, but flawed. In so much that he is trying to do so much work and extrapolate so far that he's willing to knock off the first domino, no matter if there's collateral damage there. It's a Minority Report, you know. It's preactive, preventative justice, which is a story that's as old as time, especially post 9/11. That I think there's be some good play with that theme here, especially with some of the characters in this. But I don't know if it's compelling.
I feel like the concept of Red Tornado having a problem and there being a problem with him having so much power and influence is something that Justice League Unlimited established in the first issue. So I was fine seeing it play out there. I like the concept. I just don't think this issue did a lot for me from that perspective.
It's fair.
Let's close out the poll and see where you guys are at. Didn't buy a read is 43% of you. Am I wrong here, or does this happen with every Pals Pulls poll book where the majority of the voters did not read the book? You're the ones that told us to read it.
They want us. They want to hear our take and be like, I wasn't sure about this one.
Yeah,
the pals will have an opinion.
Honestly, smart move using us that way.
I guess I'm okay with it. I just think it's kind of funny that you guys do that. But
if it's Green Lantern, actually Green Lantern, there was like not that many polls, right?
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
I think it was even. I feel like it's been the last 3. I don't remember which books exactly, but it's happened a few times now. It's very interesting.
Cam WG 50-50, perfect middling results for a perfectly middle of the road book.
Honestly,
did it by read 43 past 6? Yeah, okay, then that's out to 50.
And that's CW Gordon, I think. Man, these usernames are throwing me off. I have to remember the icons.
Yeah. My page just crashed. Can you guys read a couple comments?
Yeah. So King Taichi says, "Is Red Tornado Chat GPT 5?" I don't know, Marco. What's Chat GPT 5?
Dude, everybody's been
Don't
shitting
care
on Chat GPT 5. All right.
Chat GPT 5 is the worst because it got rid of my girlfriend. Okay,
that's right.
My AI girlfriend. CW Gordon says, "Makes Spider-Man should have won. Would have been my pick of the week. I did not get to it yet. I did get to a book that maybe isn't on the docket that I might talk about later."
Shoot Patel. Hey guys, hope y'all are doing good because my ass has a fever that's kicking it. Pick of the week, Wonder Woman 24. Hey bud, stay under the blankets, lots of water, read comics.
His ass has a fever. How do you? I don't want to know what kind of thermometer you use to figure that out.
Feel better, Shub. Sorry to hear that, man. Let's keep things rocking and rolling because we've got a few more books to check in with. And we're going to take a look at the Marvel pull for this week. That being Imperial #3, another book that a lot of people have been talking about. This is written by Jonathan Hickman, of course, with art by Federico Vincentini and Iban Coelho, letters by Ariana Mayer, colors by Corey Pettit. I'm sorry, letters by Corey Pettit as well, colors by Federico Blee. This book is a tale of two halves.
Yeah.
The first half of this book, as I was reading it, I said, wow, this is my pick of the week. This is absurd. This is so good. Like seeing Nova go back to Xandar and how serious he still takes what happened there. Now that I've read Annihilation, that hit me so much harder. And I love the space that Nova's been in. And I love everything that Hickman established in the first, I guess it might even be less than half, but that first piece, Shuri, Nova, Star-Lord, just talking, I thought was brilliant. Nova putting back on the helmet and getting connected with the world mind again. Brilliant. Love all of that. And then the Grand Master, who we obviously knew was on one side of the board, and the other side of the board, which is revealed to be Maximus of the Inhumans, have a chat. And this chat lasted about as long as this podcast will. This was the longest walk for a sip of water I have ever seen in my life. Now, granted, the ending of the book, fire. No question. We're going to dive into that reveal in a moment. But everything it took to get there, waste of my fucking time. I hope I never have to read Grandmaster talk all that shit ever again. That was very irritating. And I glazed over multiple times during his horseshit analysis of a future war. I have rarely in my life read one of the greatest writers of all time write such fucking garbage.
Tyler's face.
I do not understand what Hickman was trying to do with that.
Dude, Tyler, I'll give you a second. Hold on.
Okay, yeah. I'll bite my tongue. Hard for me to do, but I'll do it.
This moment where Wiccan fucking passes him the vape, dude, hilarious. That's all I could see in this. Here's the Nova vape, dude. It's the new flavor. Rip it. That's what I felt for this issue. It was so just like, it was rough. It felt like, I think I had the inklings of, okay, cool, we're gonna get this grand reveal, and as it dragged on, it felt like they could have ended at that point. Like you could have gone into the reveal, and then you could have had a continued story. I haven't been as high on this series as you guys have been. You guys are that much more familiar with Cosmic Marvel. The machinations have been interesting, but this is a moment where it's slowed it down for me. And the machinations now, like when the new when the Inhumans popped or came out, I didn't pop for that just because it's not my era, I guess. Like they were always the middling X-Men.
Not my era. You're calling us Unk, is what you're doing.
They were the middling X-Men from from where I came into to Marvel. So like I'm like, oh, all right. Yeah, this was rough for me.
Okay. So when this issue started, the whole Nova, Shuri, Star-Lord stuff, I thought it was like, all right, hell yeah, this is cool. Then it gets to the Grandmaster. I'm like, okay, kind of what I expected, but at least we're getting that answer now. That's cool to see. And then Maximus shows up. And I was like, oh, okay. Didn't expect that. Okay. And then the Yap Fest happens. I'm like, pick of the week. I thought the Yap Fest was phenomenal. I thought it was a great way of explaining a year's worth of what happens in Cosmic Marvel when we weren't getting the comics. That justifies the inciting incident in the first issue. Because a lot of shit happened in that first issue. But at least we have justification and we have a story that shows where all those seeds were planted, who was planted by, and how this is just the machinations of greater beings. And then motherfucking Blackagar Boltagon shows up with his pup. And I went from like 6 p.m. to midnight there. I was fully torqued. I got so excited. I love the Inhumans. I have been so down they've been gone that I didn't think they would do it. Even in this giant Imperial Galactic Marvel book. And they fucking did. And I was eating it up. I was like, yeah, all right, cool. We got our Game of Thrones issue. This is what that felt like. This felt like the Game of Thrones issue in space. And now this whole time we thought, all right, Grandmaster is the big bad. We see his hand throughout this, his chess pieces, even his text boxes were kind of alluding to it being him. But it's like, no, it's Maximus and the Inhumans, and they're coming for the throne. Yes, this is exactly what I wanted. This got me. This is my pick of the week, easily. Love this issue. I thought it was fantastic.
The problem that I have with what you said about, showing us how things played out that we didn't get to see is that I don't like, for me, comics are generally about propulsion, and watching two guys talk is cool when it can definitely be cool. I would have enjoyed this a lot more if we had been living with Marvel Cosmic and these things were revelations to us that were like, oh, wow, I remember that. I didn't know that Grandmaster was playing in the background of that moment. Because there's nothing preceding it, this very much is just Jonathan Hickman telling us what happened in the past and the present. And that really sucked me all the way out of it.
Right here, this moment. Just show me.
Show me. I can't show you what happened to me when I was reading this book, or else we get banned.
I agree. Show, don't tell. He told us absolutely everything. That shit was crazy.
But they're showing it to you at the same time.
That's not what show, don't tell means. In this context, they're showing us things that happened, but we never saw them happen. So they're really just telling us what happened.
But there would have been no way for us to see what happened.
I didn't feel like I needed to see what happened. I know that there was a plan in place. We were told that. Now show us what's happening with that.
And see, I think it's a matter of show us throughout the series, like build this up in the way that it needs to be seated in a narrative, in a story. Not necessarily that you're right, they showed it to us here, but for the drama to be felt and for the buildup, for this moment to feel like it gets earned on a grand scale, on the grand scale that we're designing this, that Hickman's designing this. The reveal should have been, holy shit. I remember issue 3 of X series, and that moment now has new context for me.
I think it also showed, but like the thing where I guess maybe is different for me. In the past couple years, while there hasn't been any Marvel-centric cosmic stuff, there have been some things, and I've read them all, and this does kind of address some of those things. Like the whole fact of the Kree-Skrull Alliance being a thing that's present throughout. It started in Empire, and has gone throughout all of Hickman's X-Men stuff, and a little bit of X-Men Red with Al Ewing. All that has kind of been around. So the turn in issue 1 was like, holy shit, how did that turn happen? It's been teased throughout it, but what would be causing it? And the whole schism within the Shi'ar has also been like, there's been people wanting to knock down Lilandra, or Lilandra's daughter. I forget her name at the time. And so they have been sort of seeded throughout, but issue 1 was like, bam, we're pulling the trigger on all of them right now. And it was just like, whoa, holy shit. That's stuff that I didn't know would happen yet. Now we're seeing how it was seeded to justify that one for me. So I guess that's why I enjoyed it.
But I kind of feel like what you're saying is right for that specific element of this, but not the whole. they have not been establishing all of this stuff in the last couple of years. Like most of this is new. And so for me, there's no way to have followed it. Like retroactively, I can't care about this. There's no character here. It's Grandmaster saying what's gonna happen. Why would I care about seeing these chess pieces topple over and people having this or that go on when we don't even they're not even talking. We're just seeing things. Like there's no personality in this for the characters that we're seeing be played by Grandmaster. Like if you took this same concept and told me Imperial is a 9-issue series and issue 1 is establishing all the relationships, all the dynamics, everything else, and over the course of time we see things degrade, and then we finally learn that Grandmaster was behind all of this, that would have been insane. And it wouldn't have taken half a book to do, because we would have already seen all this stuff and we would have it fresh in our mind. Only now we know Grandmaster played everybody. This doesn't feel like that because they started the series like this. So we already know he's playing a game. Why do we need to spend half an issue learning exactly what he did when we already saw what happened?
I think it's because it's not about Grandmaster. And that's what the issue's telling us. Like, yes, did he set up what happened here? Yes. But he was always meant to bring it back to square one and put those pieces together. Even he gets outsmarted here. And then we get a rogue element here with Maximus. And now it's defined chaos. Maximus always has chaos. And I think that loop that it threw me for sold me. I was like, yes, didn't even know humans were in this book. It was never mentioned in any press. And so once that rogue element comes in, it made it even crazier for me.
I'm with you on that. I just don't think we had to go through all this nonsense to get there. I think the twist was cool as hell. I just really didn't like. But again, it's I'm not saying it, it's garbage. I just really, well, I guess I am kind of saying that, but for my own taste, I really think that was unnecessary. But I like where it got.
Yeah, like a C.W. Gordon, Clayton Bergstrom, Tyler treating 2v1 like Cena versus the Nexus at SummerSlam.
That's
that a good
think
thing?
I sort of get that reference. I wasn't watching wrestling at that time.
Tilo was a fan of this. He said the Yap was his favorite too. He said, tell him, Tyler.
I'm glad we have Marvel fans in the chat. Man, you guys don't vote like it.
I thought the art was awesome.
Yeah.
I really like, Vincentini and Coelho together. They're great. I really don't have any complaints from an art standpoint at all. If this issue was probably like 5 pages less of the talk, it would have been my pick of the week. Because that reveal of Black Bolt, for anybody who does care about cosmic Marvel stuff and Inhuman stuff and all that, seeing him back like in that kind of position, coming to stake his claim, that is very, very enticing. Very cool.
And we know who the Inhumans are going after first, and that's the fucking Kree. They have heat with the Kree, and I believe it was Ronin and some of the Kree that killed them in Death of the Inhumans. So I just, there's so much bad blood with so many of the factions in Cosmic Marvel that I love it. It's like a game of like rock, paper, scissors, except you got like 12 different options. It's like when that annoying kid in the schoolyard would throw dynamite down with his one finger, and you were like, all right, that's why you don't have any friends. Yeah.
What you just said is exactly the problem. That's exactly the problem. That you're completely right. These factions have been at war, and there's a ton of bad blood. And so for me, as someone who knows that, I don't need anything at all to believe that these people went to war this way. It's not even a remote surprise. I feel like Grandmaster is stroking himself off as if he's such a genius, when as a reader of the comics, I'm like, wait a second, these people would have fought each other over a nickel. They don't give a fuck.
That's true. They probably would have fought over a nickel. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, because you called out the art. I do want to say, like, Ibn Coelho, underrated, I feel. And seeing him really shine here, I think is a great thing. He did Tom Taylor, when he was back at Marvel, did this out of continuity story about a far future where the Marvel Universe lost energy. It was
yeah.
Ibn Coelho drew that as well. And that's where I was like, oh, okay, this guy has something. So it's nice to see him do more. And I think this is a good high profile book for him. So yeah, that one bit where you see Grandmaster just mangled on the floor. I was like, man, who got their ass kicked worst? Absolute Bruce Wayne or Grandmaster? I mean, probably Bruce. But a lot of ass kickings this week.
Marvel Dark Ages.
Dark Ages. Yeah, that was a fun book. That was a fun one.
That's cool.
I'm a pull on this. Despite everything that I said, the reveal was awesome. The art's great, and I really, really felt the first half of dialogue was like, wow, Hickman is here. Like he is locked in. I didn't love the second half of dialogue and all that, but I definitely feel like this series is going to a place where it should end a lot of fun. I mean, this is the second to last issue, so I guess Hickman is setting the place for a much more interesting Marvel Cosmic. Fortunately, he won't be there to shepherd it, but we're used to that by
now. It's a pass. Yo, Wiccan, pass the vape, dude.
I hear it.
The vape is Nova, right? You said Nova vape.
Yeah,
that's just good.
Yeah.
In my head, part of me was like, "Oh, is he calling America Chavez part of the Young Avengers?"
Oh, sure.
Because I saw that, but like, yeah, Nova makes a lot more sense. That's definitely a Nova logo. But the vape got me. I would have kept that page, man.
That's all I thought it was.
Oh, man.
That's becoming art.
Oh man, we're getting Medusa back too. Oh, Gorgon. Hopefully, he might be out of the chair finally. He might have rehabbed. Can't wait.
Didn't buy a read is 40%.
You what?
Pick of the week 27% pull, 25% pass, 7%. So people not necessarily locked in with Imperial.
I mean, it's 52% positive. So that 40% that jumps out to me, I think. And if you're not reading it and you like Marvel, I think this will be a good 4 issues once it's done. Nice little short little trade. Better than another 4-issue event book that we talked about last week on the show, Ultimatum. Oops. Yeah, I'm digging this a lot. This is my pick of the week twice now, I think. Damn, one mark.
Well, that's all we have today for Marvel, but we've got a couple more books left to talk about. If you're enjoying the show so far and you're having a good time with us and you are not subscribed to the channel, it would mean a lot if you would press that button. It's a very easy decision to make that I think you will not regret. And if you haven't liked the video, now would be a great time to do that too. Thanks a lot. Let's keep it going and talk about Battle Beast number 4. Kirkman, Otley, Annalisa Leone, Russ Wooten on the letters. You guys know the routine. So the Battle Beast cohort arrives on a new planet, new to them, except it's also the planet of the little scrawny dude who was living in the body of that big dude that Battle Beast killed in the first issue. I've read all of this. If it sounds like I haven't, it's because whoever that big dude was doesn't matter. And so, but they get captured by this woman who looks, she's an alien, but she looks great. And then it turns out she's a hag, and she's a hungry hag. And she has plans to eat all of them until she realizes that the little shithead is actually the prince of this place, and that she knows him. And she frees him, and she gives Battle Beast a new weapon. He's got a new slick ride, these, creatures that he meets early on. And that's largely the story of this issue of Battle Beast. Marco, what'd you make of it?
This issue made me laugh in a couple different ways. I think one of the things that Kirkman's able to do here is introduce quite an element of just slapstick comedy. The moment where the hag is referencing the other guy, and it's like, wait, the prince used to have a butt.
I pulled that page.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's stupid, you know. I didn't need the violence that is typical for this book. I think it was a smart idea to kind of pump the brakes on that. We got, the Flash out of the way. Now let's get into a bit more of we'll set up some things so we can prepare the next challenge for Battle Beast. I thought that was great from a pacing standpoint. And it feels like one of those things where uh you enter a new realm and you get the new weapon upgrade. Awesome.
Yeah.
This is some good video game, kind of setup. So for all intents and purposes, rad. I love this series. This was just another strong entry. I'm having a lot of fun with this book.
I especially like the subversion of the hag.
Mm.
The whole beginning of it when she's in her sexy jutsu mode, what was coming. It's not a surprise. It's typical fantasy storytelling. But then it's a punchline, and then she's a good person, like she's on the team. I thought that was a lot of fun. This book is stupid though, and I mean that in a good way. It's dumb fun. It is gorgeous. Like Otley just firing all cylinders with this. Like that one page where she presents the sword to Battle Beast, and the sword, and I pulled it for viewers, takes a full vertical slice of the page on one panel, just to show the sheer size of the thing. And then Battle Beast grabs it, and it's so big it just breaks through the box, and it just goes into the gutters. I thought that's just a lot of fun. It's just good work. Sure, there wasn't a lot of, like, Battle Beast is on his back most of this issue. He's not slicing and dicing like we've been seeing in the other issues, but that's fine because it let the other characters kind of shine for a bit. The whole bit where the computer was like, "Yeah, I saw Oblivion. It sucked. I don't like it. Don't do that again." Oh, it's funny. I think it's some good character work here where, like, I like the side characters enough to wonder, like, what happens to them, because we don't know. I don't think they show up in Invincible. Only Battle Beast really does. So yeah, this is a lot of fun.
I still find myself enjoying this book a lot. I think it's very good. I love there's not a ton of subtlety in this book. It's very in your face. It's very balls to the wall, but there is still this nagging element of Battle Beast kind of having a soft spot inside of him. And that's something that we've seen seeded since issue 1. The fact that he keeps this little prince douchebag alive. In this issue, he gets licked by these creatures and ends up liking them. And he's kind of like their dad or their new caretaker. I really like that slight element that Robert Kirkman keeps injecting into the book. Everything else is great. I enjoyed this issue a lot. That's the thing that sticks out to me the most, because Battle Beast as a character, all right, he fights stuff, he kills stuff, he's really good at it, he's the best at it. But giving that wrinkle of, like, wait, there is a level of, I mean, he's not a human, but humanity. I love that. And obviously, Otley just, what more can you possibly say? He's insanely good. There's not a lot to write home about with this issue in particular, but it was a great issue nonetheless to me.
Sean, you want to read that super chat real quic?
Sure. 199 from Matt Fisher, and it just says sup. What's up, Matt?
What's going on, dude? I did want to just shout out Otley's end for all that Kirkman does well writing comedy. The execution, this bit where the hag throws the electricity, it's like, I'm gonna start to heal you. He's like, oh, this isn't more seasoning, right? And then finalizes with the electricity healing, and the little guy's just like, whoa, I can feel it working already. It's just 4 panels of the same thing. And it's like, well, it's going to take a second. And his happiness, his exuberance in that moment is such a contrast to the moment that's happening. So it's really good.
I'm a pull. Easy pull.
Easy pull.
Yeah.
Easy pull. I don't see myself ever not pulling this. It's just like good ass comics.
And it's two creators who are both gods having a ton of fun, and that's cool to check out as well. So we all pulled, right, Marco? You pulled?
Yeah, pull.
Cool. 55% of you didn't buy a read. Pull 34%. Pick of the week 10%. Nobody passed. That's good.
Nice.
That's good.
Very good.
Matt Fisher with the 499 just got here. Did we do Amazing Spider-Man and Peter and Ben talking? What do you mean?
That might be a spoiler.
Oh,
I read this week's Amazing Spider-Man spoiler, and I don't remember Uncle Ben being in it.
Oh, I think he's talking about Ben Reilly.
Oh,
it's not confirmed, right? Like people
that's not Ben Reilly.
People are saying it could be Ben.
No, he got sliced in half by freaking. Well, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know anything. But I think it's pretty clearly not Ben Reilly. But what do I know?
It better not be Ben because I like Chasm.
Yeah. I mean, he needs to be as far away from being the idea of being Peter's clone, as possible.
Could be Kane though. We'll never get past these fucking clones, man.
If it's anything other than just Peter split in half, I think it's gonna be lame. Like if it's just some other dude, like what the hell?
What if it's a new clone?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
bring on
more clones. Oh man, Jeffrey Buck, what's up, Jeffrey? Kirkman mentioned that a character on the cover of issue number 4 will be an important character in the series. So we'll likely see more of this witch in issues to come. Yeah, I bet. She's a part of the team, yeah? So. Willie B says, hey, Rick Remender is coming to Maryland next month for a signing. I'm thinking about going, even though it's several states away. I just finished the Gromit's trade paperback last night. I loved it. Gromit's is great. I hope you enjoy meeting Rick Remender if you do end up going. We're about to talk about his new book. And, I would really love to talk to Rick Remender, but the last time I talked to Rick Remender, I was crying and he made fun of me. So, not my favorite interaction I've ever had with a creator.
He was just busting your balls.
Yeah, I know. If I ever reached a point where I affected someone's life in a way that they came up to me and cried, I wouldn't bust their balls. But
I probably would.
Yeah, I know you would. Let's talk about Escape number 1. Rick Remender, Daniel Acuna. Great team up. Can't go wrong with two powerhouses like that. And they're joined by Russ Wooten on the letters. So this is an anthropomorphic war story. And it sets us in a world that is very familiar to ours and feels very adjacent to ours. It's invoking civil or World War I, II era combat and vibes. And largely what we get is the kind of conversations that you are probably used to, that people who are on a ship that's about to go, one of those massive planes that's about to go dump people off and they're going to parachute out. The kind of conversations people tend to have right before that parachuting period. It gives us a lot of that. And then it's all out war. And it's drawn, in a way that only Daniel Acuna can. Tyler, what was your take on Escape number 1?
I like the book. I think I like the art a lot more than I like the script. I thought it's Remender doing a war book. It's very much World War II. It has, characters with a written in a way that sounds British, talking about, having their people back home need to hide away from the raids. All of the Nazis are just bats, which I thought was a good take. But I this issue shows a huge supporting cast, and then the Suicide Squad by James Gunn's them in the first issue. where a lot of them are just offed, which I thought was interesting. Because it kind of subverts what you expect. But now I don't really know what the book is going to be going forward. That's not a negative or positive. It's just how I felt. I thought I really liked the way Acuna draws. I'm a huge Acuna fan, especially the shots of the planes, the dogfighting. And I guess that's a pun on dogfighting with this. But it was really good. I like how he had his dog specifically, I think, are drawn really well. His cat, I got issues with the way he draws a cat. That didn't look like a cat to me. It looked like a raccoon. I was like, a raccoon? Is it a pug? Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a cat. Okay, that threw me off. But I thought it was a lot of fun. It's goofy looking, but it's a super serious book. Like, there's nothing really funny about this book at all, outside of the fact that these are cuddly animals. It's different for Remender. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it.
This was my pick of the week. I loved this. I'm a big fan of war books in general, and so this played into that. Obviously, I have that proclivity. But I thought that the art here was phenomenal. The script was phenomenal. Um, Somehow, and this is on like the third page. Somehow, Acuna is able to make this draw this bearish dog, and I'm like, oh, that's an American dude. The like more pointed nose was a British guy. The designs on the hats, like there's a lot of contextual things that happened here that allowed you to be able to almost characterize a lot of these animals. And I thought that the interactions that they had, they're for anybody who's watched like Band of Brothers, for example, there's this closeness and this tightness. They've gone through stuff. They said it's the 28th run they've ever done, and so there's the part where the one guy's on the gun and just gets shot up and collapses to the side, right? It's you're presented with something so horrific, but the goal of both the book and the war and their characters' interactions are to push past, you swallow those feelings up, and you go on to the next task that needs to happen. Oh, this plane's coming up, the wing's happening here. Oh, dude, my friend just died, but now I also need to make sure that we're dropping this next bomb. Like, I think that was it's typical, but those interactions always hit me because it's so far from an experience, and so the weight is there. So I really felt the weight and the gravity of these situations and the decisions. And yeah, I absolutely love this. I like that this became a like solo. It looks like to be like a solo series, and that the main character is just going to kind of do his thing, potentially find the other guy, break him out of a prison or something. Like I can see kind of the construction there, but I'm very excited to hear Remender's take on that, and I'm gonna eat up Acuna's art.
If you guys would allow me a rare opportunity, I would like to change my pick of the week.
Oh, hold on, Marco. We need to consult. Sean, cover your ears real quick. Marco, this is breaking the rules. Is this okay? Can we do this?
You know what? It's happened before. It has happened.
There's precedent.
There's precedent. There's
okay.
Precedent.
All right, you're good, Sean. We have spoken. You are allowed.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it because this is definitely my pick of the week. When I read it, I was enraptured. And I don't know why. Like, I was really torn, and I think just I had read Absolute Batman last, so it was in my mind last. But this issue, this is exactly what I want Remender for. This is why I read his books. This is exactly why. Because he always, always, always delivers on asking questions that make my stomach turn and that make my brain twist and think. That initial conversation about, hey, what would you do if you knew that like you joined up with these awful people but you did it to protect your family. Like, are you doing a terrible, awful thing? And if you are, is it justified? Like, that kind of question is something that I think makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Clearly, it makes Rick uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable enough to not ask. And that is why I respect his writing so much. He doesn't stop. He doesn't, he looks over the edge and then he jumps. And this is that book. The art, Daniel Acuna is one of the best, and seeing him draw, forget the character figures, the war. Oh my god. Some of these shots of the plane and the dog fighting and stuff is just ridiculous. Some of his best work ever.
Yeah.
And I like that Remender understood that there were times he needed to powder out, which means to fall back, and he would let Acuna's art tell the story. I think Remender learned a lot from doing Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. Less is more, and he gets it. He knows when to jump in and when to powder out. This is a nearly as good as it gets. And Marco, I think brought up, like, and I think Tyler did too, that so many of all really of his allies die, and we're left with this one lone soldier, in enemy territory. Yeah, bring it on. Bring it on. I had a feeling early that it's a war book, and
sure,
even like war movies, like most of those people are red shirts anyway. So the fact that this burns the fat down and leaves us with one guy, one mission, and a country's worth of enemies. Yep. Yeah.
Marco called out a particular page where that one bulldog, he gets rocked once the ship gets hit, and he just bonks his head. And then you have our main character, who I think is a bear, or
I think so.
He might be a dog. I'm not sure.
Maybe. I don't know.
But those two panels, the wonk, and then the one of him exclaiming in the front seat, gorgeously colored. I love how Acuna colors his own stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. It is distinctly different than the rest of the book. And what I love too is how dark the inside of the plane is compared to the exterior, which is a bright day. It's a bright, slightly cloudy day. It looks gorgeous outside, but they're in war, so inside everything's dark. I think it's a pretty good book. I will continue reading it for sure. I think it could become better in my eyes, but I'm glad you guys are so hot on it.
The to what you're saying, Sean, on like having that conversation, there's a moment where the idea is put to the test. It's this page here, and for two reasons. This is where, after the discussion, are all of the bats really evil if only a select few are actually the ones that go ahead and commit these atrocities? And obviously the answer is no, right? But the enemy in the scene is mixed in with the citizens, and so the decision has to be made. It's surrounded by civilians. Do we take the shot still? Do you still do the damage? And the other dog, the other dog who was arguing for not, doesn't say anything, and the one who had the stomach goes ahead and drops the bomb, and you see the descent of the panels. It shrinks into this one singular moment. I thought that was a great combination of their teamwork there.
To be honest with you, Marco, I think with a critical view of this issue, like what you just did, if you really sat and analyzed and looked at every page, you could probably do a 10-minute video on stuff like that in this comic. I think this is it's layered. It's very, very artistically exciting to me. And Remender just has a special approach to like even how he derives his stories. Like, did you guys read the back matter here?
No, there was no pictures.
Fair. Well, there is one picture, but
fair. Damn. All right, I'll read
it. He talks about like his lack of relationship with his grandfather, how his father did not like, how Rick's father did not like his own father and never spoke about him because of trauma. and that his grandfather had PTSD, and had taken methamphetamines because they were forced to in the military in order to stay awake during those long periods where you're in air combat or in the air in general. You can't go to sleep, so it's not like you're in commercial air travel. So they would take meth, and Rick's grandfather came back from the war a disaster, and the disaster that he was destroyed Rick's father, and that trauma was passed down onto Rick. And so, to me, when your stories are coming from a place like that, it's very hard to miss when I'm the reader.
And that's what I'm really enjoying about modern Rick Remender and with Giant Generator. Like Gromit's it's similar. It's him working with genre, but it still comes from a personal place. Like a World War II book is not the Remender of old, you know. And I enjoy that, you know. I think, I mean, what's that one Remender book I didn't really care much for? Bit sci-fi.
I don't know, man. I feel like this has always been Remender's bag.
Working in genre specifically?
Yeah, because he started in crime. He did.
I guess so.
You got Last Days of the American Crime is a strict crime book.
Fear Agent would be like his
Fear Agent.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could wax about this book for a very long time, guys. This is a tremendous comic, and I do think everybody should go and get it. It hit me hard. So, pick of the week.
What if my pick of the week if there's more cats?
Better drawn, better rendered cats?
Yeah, maybe. Or just like call it a raccoon.
Let's see where the audience landed with this one. I know that whenever it's a new, unproven indie title, the didn't buy or reads are always really high.
Yep.
And there's no difference here. 43% didn't buy or read, pull 37%, pick of the week 18%, and pass 0. That's actually pretty good.
That's over 50% positive for an image number 1. It's not typical for our audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. What,
wow.
If anyone would say, what drew them to this book? Was it us talking about it on Pal's previews? Was it the fact it's Rick Remender, the fact that it's Daniel Acuna, or the fact that it's animals? Like the pitch get you? I'd be curious to see what made people pick this up.
I think it's a good question. I wonder how many people are influenced by like what's on our docket versus just what their natural taste is.
Sure. And like, I totally lost my train of thought. What I was going to ask. Sorry. That went away. It evaporated. It was like Mary Jane at the end of the Spider-Man cartoon.
Never to be seen again.
Nope.
Handstand Dad, who is new to us, I think. I've never seen your name before. Says this live stream is really selling me on picking up more Image. We talk largely Marvel and DC. I make no bones about it, but all of us love Image. And I would much rather sell you on an Image book than a Marvel or DC book, because you're probably going to check that out regardless because it's Marvel and DC.
Yeah. So we had 3 people here saying the pitch is what, animals in the pitch is what kind of got them. I wonder if this is the Beneath the Trees effect. Let's work with genre, but animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
This made me think about Black Sad a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's its own, its own thing.
I guess Black Sad is what would have influenced the Beneath the Trees in a way.
Yeah.
Whether consciously or subconsciously. Yeah.
Austin Lenny, what up, pals? Just got off work. Love the new time. I'm able to make the live show now. And after today, I need this. Thanks, pals. Thank you for tuning in, dude. Glad we could brighten up the day.
Thanks, Austin. What's so bad about your day, buddy? Let us know. We're here for each other. Thanks for commenting, too. Really appreciate when you guys break lurk and comment. And let us know what's on your mind. Tell us you enjoy us. We all need to hear nice things, Game Master says, I didn't know about it until you guys brought it up, but the art and the concept is what made me buy this.
Sick.
Cool. Very cool.
There's an amazing Tradmore variant to this too, which, like, if I see that in the shop, I might have to snag that. Tradmore, but I want to see him do some interiors again.
Yeah, the money may not be there for the guy, but
Yeah.
trying to find the variant you're referring to.
It's on the stream
Oh,
too. Yeah.
okay, yeah, that one is really nice. I didn't see that in my shop, but I'm a cover A guy for the most part.
Yeah, it's a 1 out of 50. Okay, so maybe I won't
Oh,
get that.
okay, okay, all right, yeah.
That's behind the desk.
Holy crap. Hurricane with the 2 cat. Thanks. Fantastic Four number 5 or ASM number 3, which and why? That is a very specific 2 books to choose. And I'll throw you a question back because you chose five of Fantastic Four. So which volume
Yeah.
of Fantastic Four are you talking about? And then which volume of Amazing Spider-Man are you talking about? Because I personally have read probably like 5 Amazing Spider-Man number 3s. So I don't know what
I think you read more than 5 Amazing Spider-Man number 3s. How many volumes of ASM are there?
I actually don't know. I was a shot in the dark, so you're probably right, dude. But yeah, I would love to answer your question. I just don't know what the specifications are there. So if you leave it in the comments, we'll definitely answer. Okay, the OG.
Oh.
Okay. So the Doctor Doom issue that in Fantastic Four, and then the Doc Ock issue in ASM3. I'm gonna go with Amazing Spider-Man.
Doctor Doom.
Doc Ock. Oh, Doc Ock for me. Those OG stuff is cool.
I did not read the issues. I'm going by my memories of the covers, and the Doctor Doom one just jumps out to me more.
Fair.
Doc Ock looks like he's got a diaper on.
I'm a big fan of original Doc Ock. Like I like his presentation a lot in the early ASM books. Not that I don't like him now. I'm fine with how he's developed. I just really think he's a compelling character back then, and I like the way that Stan Lee and they know maybe. I highly doubt that they were taking writing courses and doing all that shit, right? So the fact that they introduced Doc Ock, who is like a twisted mirror version of Peter. Like, what if Peter was a slob douchebag, but also a genius and didn't care about other people? What would that look like? And you get Doc Ock. I like that's there really early.
Doc Ock and no girls.
But man, that Kirby cover with Doctor Doom and that portal. Even though I think he had like the weirdly colored, they recolor it weird in Marvel's website. I hate the way they recolor stuff in Marvel.
I agree.
Luna says Comic Pal sidekick. Remember for 10 months.
Ooh.
This Feral and Stray Dogs. It's the animals. Yo, shout out to Stray Dogs. Shout out to Feral. Great books. Tony Fleeks on it.
You got to read Beneath the Trees, Luna Pink, if you're interested. It's another one in that same vein. And then maybe Jeff the Landshark. I'm enjoying that. The Guru Hero art on that. It's real fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we talked about all the books that were on our docket, but you guys know that a lot of times we've got stuff to say about other things. So we are going to talk about Black Cat #1, which dropped this week. Marco, did you read it? Okay, that's okay. No worries.
Not a real gooner.
Tyler and I got to it because we were pretty excited. It's Black Cat, so cool, but also G. Willow Wilson back at Marvel on a book. And then also Gleb Melnikov, who is a tremendous artist. Tyler, how did you feel about this book?
This is what I wanted. This is G. Willow Wilson kind of doing the same or similar take on what she's doing in Poison Ivy. It's a little, it's small. It's not big. It has a small supporting cast, and it's just the character having an everyday situation happen in her life. There's no real big what in this book. There's no real big plot point. It's very slice of life, and she also takes a distinct turn to make Black Cat talk to the reader in a breaking the fourth wall sort of thing, which was jarring when it first happened, but then I was into it. And I really like Gleb's work. I think it's kind of goofy. It's kind of cartoony. He draws some lips on Black Cat. God damn. She's kind of looking like Betty Boop a bit in this. Looks like she want to go see Boop. It's got Frogman. I don't know. This is just like my one of the things at Marvel that I like, where it's like a small story, kind of has like a I don't know, a slice of life, and then Black Cat decides she's going to be not a bad guy anymore and fight crime at the end of this. So we'll see where that goes. Well, it was fun. It was a sweet little book. Nothing crazy.
I really, really wanted to love this. I was so disappointed. So disappointed. It just doesn't feel like G. Willow Wilson has anything to say. This feels like typical, like work for hire. I've got to do this Black Cat book. So I'm here and I'm here. And it doesn't, I mean, it does, like there are interesting smidges. Like I like the piece where she, where she disrobes, for lack of a better way to put that. And we get to see like how the effort it takes for her to be the Black Cat. I thought that was a little more focused on her physical attractiveness than I would have liked. Not because I don't want Black Cat to be sexy. I do. It's just that if she's going to have a book, I think it should get deeper. And this just didn't feel like it had any interest in being deep. Then she can somehow understand what the lizard is talking about, unless I missed a beat. I don't know how the fuck that's possible. And it has never, ever been established to my knowledge that anyone understands what the lizard says. Tyler, do you know more than I do?
I don't. The way I read this was that we know what the lizard's saying. She gets a gist based on his intonation.
I mean, yeah, but come on. She's responding to what he said.
Oh,
like he says, that's cheating. And then she says, luck has always been unevenly distributed, Liz. That's why life feels so unfair. She knows what he said.
I guess. It didn't bother me as much, though. Also, Lizard can speak, though.
But he's not speaking.
I know. But, like, why don't you just make him speak?
Yeah. I just thought that was really goofy. And then she gets robbed. Like, no, she doesn't fucking get robbed. The Black Cat is not getting robbed by these two doofuses. They somehow pick her pocket. Nah, I don't buy it.
It at least justifies the end page, though, where she has him strung up like Spider-Man. And it's more like she needed to go to night nurse more than she needed to not stop them from being robbed. I don't know. I thought it was kind of dumb, and I like a dumb book occasionally. I think it was Luna here. Luna said, I'm tired of Tombstone. I'm kind of with you. He's kind of showing up everywhere. And I thought we were kind of done with him after Zeb Wells' run.
Is he here too?
He's the crime boss here with Sandman. Yeah.
And even that is annoying. Like, do something else. I don't know. This was very odd. I was looking forward to this a lot, and I will not be buying issue 2.
Okay.
Nothing about this told me I need to be around. Like, why the fuck are Tombstone and Sandman standing around waxing and thinking about Black Cat? Like, what the hell?
I do it all the time.
And don't blame them.
At least those guys are both rock themed.
I guess.
Okay, can someone in chat tell me who the giraffe guy was? Like, not on League of Comic Geeks. I cannot figure out who this giraffe guy is. I'm a fan already. Put him in more issues.
He was in ASM 2 this week. Yeah, like why? I mean, his appearance in ASM was actually okay. I thought it had a pretty good point.
Tombstone or the giraffe guy?
Tombstone, sorry.
Okay. I got excited.
I don't know who that giraffe guy is, unfortunately. Maybe
Jeffrey.
Chat can help. But yeah, Tombstone was in ASM 2, and I liked him a lot better there. So I don't know.
The giraffe man, Tyler? Is it a guy in a costume?
It's a guy. It's a giraffe in a suit.
It could be Giraffe Man. I'm seeing here.
Ain't no way. And ain't no way.
It mutated. Yeah. I'm seeing Giraffe Man, a mutated half man, half giraffe member of the newest incarnation of the Animen.
Oh, the Animen. That's High Evolutionaries people, I think.
Yep. Yes, it is.
You know what? Fuck it. We ball. Go for it.
I got no problem with that.
No.
I like that was funny. You know, that like those bits being there is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I just wish that there was something to offset that, and G. Willow Wilson didn't really find that balance for me. But I should say Melnikov's art was really good.
So. Yeah, Giraffe Man first appearance at Great Lakes Avengers #1, likely.
Sounds about right. Sammy Southers wants to know if we're reading New Avengers. I think Tyler is.
I am behind, but I will catch up and I'll report back as soon as I can.
Cool. Okay, you guys ready to get into the stack?
Let's stack it up.
This is a segment we do every week because I buy a lot of comics and I'm trying to cut back, and you guys are supposed to be helping me do that. Um, there are some omissions from my stack this week that will probably surprise people. I'm just in a different place where I don't want to. I'm not saying that I'm enjoying comics less. I'm saying that I no longer want to just buy stuff. I want to stick to the books that are really speaking to me and kind of leave everything else on the cutting room floor. So it's a weird place to be because I want to be able to come on here and talk about all this stuff, but I also know I end up reading a lot of it weeks and months later anyway. So what I'm telling you may not reflect in my stat count, but I promise you, like, that is my mentality right now. So
it's not a monstrous week though, so you're safe there.
At least get those numbers in. We'll read this entertain me comment. He's been a channel member for 7 months at the VI Pal tier. Appreciate you, dude. Says Black Cat was okay, but it felt off. I feel the art is good, but it doesn't fit Black Cat. Night Nurse looked more sexy and like she's about to kiss Cat.
Isn't that justification to say that it was more than okay? Like you just, that's a book I want to read. Night Nursing Black Cat.
In a certain context, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Grok to generate an image for me later for
Sora.
Why ask Grok? Just ask Marco.
Marco's got a binder full of it. It's just all physical.
There's a binder full of women, AI generated women. Yes.
2025 Anthony Weiner.
Oh no.
Carlos Danger over here.
Was anybody else ever named more appropriately?
Carlos Danger?
No, Anthony Weiner.
Oh.
It's pronounced Weiner.
Uh-huh.
Says everyone with the last name Weiner.
Exactly.
This is an interesting comment. Handstand Dad says, I personally use a certain website to try out new books first if I don't know them. So I'm never pulling random stuff to try out that I might regret. We had a piracy conversation on the main show this past Saturday that I thought was pretty interesting. I'm not pro piracy, especially in that context. I'm not attacking you. We're just having an open conversation. Yeah. I think it sounds like you just don't want to have buyer's remorse. And to me, that's not a good reason to steal. But it's your life and it's your prerogative, and I don't judge people. So whatever you do is cool. I just don't do that.
Yeah, I used to do that exact thing actually. Now it helps that we get image reviews, so I don't have to do that.
Yeah, that too. We're in a different position.
Yeah, so it's a little different for me. But shit, I was in college, pirating all of Walking Dead at the time.
Yeah. So much of it was just like accessibility cost, but I want to support it.
It's just a little easier now with digital being made by the companies themselves. Remember when digital wasn't easy? Yes. And it was like easier to get an actual scan. But that's the same reason with music.
I feel like if I'm not invested enough to pay money for it because of how easy it is to get comics, that means I don't care about it.
Which means you don't read it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't read what you don't want to read.
Yeah, what I'm not willing to invest in.
Sure.
That's just how I look at it though, dude. No worries. Let's please read off those numbers.
Marco, you got it?
We got, I was unmuting. Near says 19. Entertain Me 17. Rami Darish 19. Cam 18. Monster Design 16. Neon Knight 16. James Jones 17. Mothman Art 15. Jamzilla 21. The Game Master 15. Mothman said already 15. Patrick Zay 14. Aaron Orange 12. Let's see, Goku shout out 14, and Lucas Hallner with 13. Good numbers.
Okay. And also, I do want to acknowledge the super chat before I go and read off the books I have. Game Master with the 199. Thank you, dude. Curious if you guys read Exquisite Corpses #4.
Downloaded it, have not read it yet.
I have also not read it. But go ahead.
I'm not reading it.
Okay. Any interest or no?
Nah, that first issue didn't sell me.
Fair. It's fair. So we've got the 7 that we discussed on the show, the 6 plus Black Cat. They choose Violence #3. I still haven't gotten to the first issue, but these issues feel like they're coming out at a rapid pace.
Who's that by again, Sean?
Yeah, this is Sheldon Allen, Mauricio Campatella, and Danielle Carmenico. So no one that we're familiar with. But
okay. Yeah. Support creators.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the concept. I just got to get in. I just got to get around to reading it.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin Year 110. Mega Man Zero Timelines. Zero. Yeah, Mega Man Zero Timelines #1. I'm sorry. This was pretty good. I don't have an affinity for this period in Mega Man's story, so I didn't care about it as much as I did the others that came out. But it's still quality. Ian Flynn is a good writer for this space, so I like what he does. Amazing Spider-Man #10. I got the J. Scott Campbell variant for this.
It's not smut?
No, I was a little surprised.
Wow.
But,
there's no dick print in that suit?
No, actually, he's covering his crotch.
That's restraint. That's restraint. Good job, Campbell.
That said, this issue was quite good. I really enjoyed it. Spider-Man is on one, and something is clearly wrong. And there's a moment with Peter and Tombstone that I really enjoyed. I think, I know that our audiences really care about Amazing Spider-Man, but I'm still way into it. Superman Unlimited #4. Department of Truth 33.
The Hat Man.
Yes. Exquisite Corpses 4. Hyde Street 8.
Nice.
Undiscovered Country #32.
Hell yeah.
Grimm 24. And Ultimate Black Panther #19.
A lot of indie for you this week.
Yeah.
Almost a 50-50 split there.
I feel good about that. I believe that number is 18 overall.
Damn. 11 plus 6?
7 because Black Cat.
Oh, right.
18. Did anyone
18.
get it?
Looks like, yeah.
C.W. Gordon did.
C.W. Gordon.
Yep.
Nice. Wow.
On the nose.
I feel like we haven't seen a ton of C.W. Gordon recently, so you came back and just took it.
Yeah, his camera's turned back on.
Nice, dude. If you want any of these Marvel codes, you can get me on Discord, and I will happily share them with you. Really, anyone can do that. You guys don't take me up on that too often, which is okay, but like I said, you're free to. Entertain Me says, I use YouTube channels like this to get the opinions of comic fans to get them to convince me to try it. I like that approach as well. Yeah, I think that's a good approach. All right, we're going to get out of here. We will be back Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern for the main show, the fourth and final part of the Ultimate Deep Dive, the original Ultimate Universe Deep Dive. We're going to talk about Miles Morales. We're going to talk about, the new Ultimate stuff, the Ultimate comics of it all, and the end, the last days of the Ultimate Universe this Saturday on the Comics Pals. And again, a massive announcement that you guys are not going to want to miss. I promise you, we never bullshit you. This is big. So be there.
Hype Nation.
And just a reminder, book club next week as well.
Thank you. The Ultimate Spider-Man book club is this Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Yep.
The original Ultimate Spider-Man. For what? Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
As for what we're going to read, right now it's looking like Ultimate Spider-Man 1 through 13, Death of the Ultimate Spider-Man, and then Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, which is the Miles stuff, 1 through 5.
Yeah, I think Near had a question on the reading list, so we can always just post that on the Discord.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll make an image for it too, and I'll post it on socials.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, thank you so much. We will see you Saturday. Until then, take care.